So in this video, I'm going to share my experiences with both the DJI and the Hollyland wireless microphone systems. So for starters, when it comes to wireless microphone solutions, you typically are not gonna go without having heard of DJI. This is the first version of the DJI. These were and still are great, but there are certain shortcomings that come with the original wireless mic system. These type of systems, they typically come with two mics, and I regularly found myself needing more than two, because if you're going to use two, you might find yourself using three or four, especially in a production context, podcasting, panel sessions. So if you're recording a lecture, which I was doing many times, I found that I'm recording 4 or 5 people at a time, and these two weren't going to cut it. So I ended up pairing the content of the DJI, not the content, but I ended up pairing the DJI mics with the body pack recorders from Tascam, as well as the wireless transmitter receivers from Rode. I had to synchronize between the DJIs, the Tascams, and the Rodes, which were being captured in camera, so that I can create the entire system. So later, when we were building out the studio here in Houston for one of the client projects I'm on, so we decided to get two of these. Now, the thing about the DJI Mic 2s is they are just as good as the first one and more. One of the things that I found that was a good upgrade is that if I wanted to use it on my phone, I didn't have to lose the cold shoe mount. Typically end up with something like this, like a USB-C or a Lightning for Apple, or you get this little cold shoe that you would simply slide on. You would have to choose, and it kind of became a little cumbersome, and I started avoiding using it altogether with relation to if I wanted to use it with my phone. And so just because of that switching, I think the folks behind this product realized that. And so what they ended up doing in version 2 is that they have the cold shoe built permanently into the device itself, and then you can swap out the USB-C portion or Lightning or whatever it's going to be. And so that way you can have it permanently mounted on. Now, one of the things I really appreciated about the DJI Mic 2s over the DJI Mic 1, in addition to this little bit with between the cold shoe and the USB-C, is if you're working off of a Sony type camera, then you could take advantage of the cold shoe port, or a hot shoe rather. And this is a device that renders the use of any cables null and void. And so if I wanted to mount the DJI Mic's wireless receiver, all I have to do is take off the USB-C attachment, and the very spot where the USB-C attachment slides into is the very area in which the DJI wireless receiver slides into as well. And so as such, you're good to go. And this is actually more useful, not just for the fact that you've gone wireless, but if you've got an FX2, you can still manage to use the viewfinder. Now, I've always been an anti-viewfinder guy, but I've actually found this quite a bit of fun. The thing that I didn't expect was the triggering of nostalgia with relation to the old 80s and 90s style home video cameras, where you're making videos, especially if you and I have found this to be useful, especially outdoors, because the Sony LCD screens are not all that bright. And the fact that it's relatively out of the way, um, I don't mind having it. And the fact that it does tilt makes it useful. And so it's kind of like a lens hood on a big zoom lens, right? When it's on there, it has a function. But when you want to pack it away, you can flip it around and it becomes compact. That's the case with the viewfinder. And even with the Canon M6 Mark II, which I'm recording on right now, they sell a viewfinder accessory for those who want it. And then you can take it off whenever you're packing it away. Even on the GFX 100 Mark II, I think it's a tiltable viewfinder similar to this, but it can also come off. So I believe as a happy hybrid medium between video and photo shooters, and if you want to make a product that is viable for both, either have the viewfinder removable or have it tiltable. But that's besides the point. What I wanted to point out was the fact that having this attachment that also renders the use of renders the use of wires unnecessary. Um, you can also still tilt your viewfinder. Now, granted, you're not going to get the full like vertical version of it. So if this was off, right? This is how the viewfinder goes in reality. It can go full vertical or horizontal. Now, with the hot shoe accessory attached, you won't go full vertical, but it's still more than enough range of motion. And I found this even more helpful where so we were doing some recordings where we were behind um, like a black screen, and we needed to ensure that there were no reflections and such. And so having the viewfinder there was actually quite helpful, especially with the tilt, where I can just kind of go in and see if everything's in frame and we're good and we're recording. So yeah, this is a must-have accessory, this type of accessory that allows you to connect to the hot shoe and render the use of wires unnecessary. So this was the initial thing I got with the DJI system. But now we got two DJI systems for the studio, but what ended up happening was we needed one of our staff who does a lot of traveling and does recording and stuff on the go. He needed a mic system, so basically had him run with the DJI mics, but then for the studio, we were one short. And so what I ended up doing was instead of getting a DJI mic system, I decided to go with Hollyland. And the upside with Hollyland is it essentially is everything that DJI is and more. So one of the cool things is the Hollyland also has the same type of hot shoe adapter from that you can attach their wireless receiver. So if we go ahead now in the package, so I got the 4 mic attachment from Hollyland. Their actual case is about this big, and compared to the original DJI mic case, it's about the same size. And if you put it next to the new one, you'll see that it is significantly smaller. So it's the same idea. It's just like an AirPod case where you can put your stuff in here and it will record. The thing is, it only takes 2 of these wireless mics at a time. So if you wanted to charge the other ones, then you'll have to take these out and then dig into your bag, and then from there put the other ones in. Now this mic system is a little bit different compared to the DJI. So the first thing that you will notice, the key difference, is the size. Like you feel this when it's on you. This you forget that it's there. And so when you put it on, the other thing I like is the fact that the logo and branding is subtle, and I appreciate that highly. So, for example, if I were to use the clip-on system, right, and I put it on my T-shirt as such, right, this is what it's going to look like. And if you have like a formal type of attire on, it's like a button down or something, and you put it inside, then the logo is still going to be front and center, and even looks even unprofessional where the logo is upside down. And so as a result, I'm just like, yo, this is dumb. And if I were to put gaff tape on it to hide it, it just looks really ghetto. And so what I ended up doing was I would use a lapel mic with this. However, this thing is so small, even on a T-shirt, it's not so bad. Where if I clip this on, right? Now you do see something, but it's not that noticeable. And at the same time, if I were to go ahead and slide this into my, say, undershirt as such, you hardly notice it. And this is the actual microphone. It's and it can record audio files directly on the thing, 32-bit float, just like the DJI. And if you wanted to attach external mics, because you'll notice if you look closely here, you just see a USB-C port and some electronic connections. There's nothing to attach a wireless mic. And this is where this thing also comes with additional accessories in the bag, right? Among them is a little attachment for your if you want to attach a lapel mic, or if you want to attach a boom mic of sorts. So one of the things that I had done was I connected this to this, so I could attach a 3.5 inch mini cable, and this mini cable was then connected to the line out or the headphone jack of a Tascam that was connected to a boom similar to this, right? And so we were recording some educational content where the instructor was wearing a lapel, and we also had the boom as a backup. Both signals were being wirelessly transmitted to the wireless receiver, and that receiver was being fed into a multicam Blackmagic switcher. And then we were able to not only capture the high quality audio on the device itself, but we were also able to capture that on the Blackmagic design switcher. And so the cool thing is, so if we look here, so we've got the little accessory attachment. This thing's got a little USB stuff thing. So I just slide that into the boom. And so now you've got your Hollyland, and you still got your tilt with the camera here. As long as this thing is connected, turn this on. But the thing I want you to notice is how there are no wires, and you'll notice my levels for the audio are going up and down over here. So I've been using the Hollyland for about a week now, maybe a little bit more. But I do appreciate and I like having the fact that, now, in case you wanted to know if you can use magnets or not, you certainly can. It comes with magnets as well as some cases. I haven't used these, and in truth, I don't use the magnets as much as I thought I would. In the past, I was using the magnets regularly whenever I was shooting on, like when I'm wearing a t-shirt or whatever. But lately, I started avoiding doing that altogether, because one of the things that I noticed was whenever I put the DJI mic underneath my shirt, I could still capture either the ruffling of my outfit, or there was a bit of muffling of the sound, and I just preferred the clearer sound of literally just having the mic mounted on the outside, albeit it being visible. And so for that, and it is for that very reason that I appreciate the Hollyland more than the DJI. And the fact that you get 4 as opposed to 2, it makes it a huge plus. Now, knowing what I know now, if I didn't have any mic system, then I would probably default to the Hollyland, because it can do literally everything that the DJI can do. And the fact that it comes with 4 as opposed to 2 of them, they're lighter. They also have all of the same kind of accessories. So also, in case you're wondering what else comes in this package here, they got a bunch of cables. These are not like anything special, just like USB-C cables and stuff. It comes with some dead cats in case you want to use this while riding your bike or in a windy situation. It comes with a bunch of them. They'll typically be packed up in a plastic such as this. And so if you want to mic up everybody so that they all have a dead cat on, you can most certainly do that. And so, but yeah, overall, I think this is a great product. Totally worth considering if you are doing any kind of content creation. Just a side note, one of the things that I do appreciate about the Hollyland over the DJI is that in addition to like the charging case that DJI has, the fact that I can take that same charging case, put it in this pouch with all of the additional accessories that I don't necessarily need, this just makes it a win. Because when I'm having this around, part of the reason of the clunkiness was that I didn't want to have to carry like an extra mini cable or whatever else, right? And so like, this is all I get. This is all I want to carry. I don't want to carry the additional loose items. Whereas this here, I can carry all my loose items together and they're not loose. So that's it, guys. There's one of the things that I do appreciate. Probably going to get a lot of use out of this. I was almost exclusively using the Hollyland audio for the last week of production work that I was doing. So I think that says something. All right, guys, I'll see you soon.